bid you shalom. I bid you shalom. I bid you shalom. Welcome to Facts Over Feelings. I want to welcome everybody tonight who is a regular on Facts Over Feelings. If you are new, then I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just going to let you lay up in here and get your feelings hurt. You can't bring your feelings to Facts Over Feelings, because if you do, you're going to find out that your feelings don't mean nothing here. But for all of the folks from the media that like to tune in now and actually broadcast this particular video live stream for your viewers, I'd like to welcome you all too. You finally figured out where all the information was really coming from. See, a lot of y'all just got up on me, so you don't know nothing. That's why you're asking a bunch of dumb questions. But for those of y'all who've been with me for the last 8 years, you know exactly what's been going on. You've seen the evolution. You saw the twists and turns, and you know exactly how we got here. You know where the NFAC came from. You know where the presidential came from. You know where the original BLM came from. You know where the hip hop drama came from. You know where all of that came from. So you're not sitting there asking no bunch of dumbass questions. So I welcome all of my friends, followers, and the children, the elect and the chosen of the Most High. Good evening to you. We have an interesting evening ahead of us, don't we? Don't we? You know what? Let me tell you something. You don't know how much someone hates you until you start to do something that exposes them instead of you. Let me say that to y'all again, because a lot of y'all was in your phones doing something different when I said that. If you're out on your job and you got me turned on, that's good. I bid you a shalom. I got to shout out to all of the truckers, the over the road truckers that have me on, you know, that program y'all got on your CB. I got to say, look, I'm right here with you. I know I ain't nothing but a voice, but this voice gonna keep you company for the next 2 hours right here on Facts Over Feelings. We got some stuff to deal with tonight. And like I said before, if you've been keeping up with the story, we've had some developments. We've had some things change. We've dealt with some joys. We've dealt with some pains. We had some mistakes and we had some successes. And some of the things we did were insignificant, but some things we've done have landed squarely in the history books. Did you see the video of yourself, NFAC? Did you see how you came into Louisville, Kentucky? Did you see how you couldn't see you because you stretched into the distance till there was nothing left to see but a sea of black people? Y'all wondered why we say black only. It's not because we hate you. It's because we wanted a place where we could feel loved amongst ourselves, so we could feel the energy. We could feel the camaraderie. We could feel the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the mama hood, the papa hood, the children hood, everybody hood. We just wanted to feel ourselves together with no worries, with nobody gonna harass us. Nobody gonna say nothing to us. You know what? Ironically, if anybody gonna hurt us, it's gonna be ourselves, because you ain't gonna do it. See, that's the whole idea behind it being a black only. We got to learn. We know we're not perfect, but we got to learn. And we're getting better. See, what y'all didn't understand was that it's a process. You don't find a diamond laying on the dirt. You got to dig down into the dirt to get it. Then when you get the diamond, you still got to clean it off. And then once you get it nice and polished, then you can cut it the way you want. Then once you get it cut, you can set it and you can rock it. And see, we just cleaning off the diamond. Y'all sit back. In the words of Run DMC, check the star because I'm going far. Now check the shine. You know what I'm saying? So we got to deal with some reality tonight, family. We do. And again, I welcome you to Facts Over Feelings. You could have been anywhere on social media, but you chose to pull up here, whether you're a friend or foe. You chose to show up, and you came on the wrong night, because tonight we celebrating just a little bit more like we always do, because you see, they want y'all to think one thing. But since we don't have no black newspaper anymore, this has become your source of information. You come on social media hopefully to hear the truth, but also to watch people play themselves. You come on hoping to see something that they're not going to show on mainstream media, but not to see it twisted and you getting lied to. Fear will make you do a lot of things. And fear of a black planet, as Public Enemy said, is their worst nightmare. Now, if you can't rock with what I'm saying, you can always end right now. You can leave. Ain't nobody making you stay. You see, that's the thing about y'all. My race cannot give, pardon my language, y'all know it's coming. We cannot give two fucks about you. But y'all can't leave us alone. You can't mind your own damn business. No matter what the hell we doing, you got to bring your pinky toe over there to find out what the fuck we going on or how you can fit in. And this is one time where you all vexed and shit because we said it up front. You can't be a part of this. You can try to help us. What you gonna do? Stand in there on the corner for us? Give us some money? We don't want your money. Matter of fact, we trying to do this on our own. Y'all can't handle that. The same way y'all couldn't handle the fact that we was minding our own damn business down in Africa. Y'all couldn't leave us alone. So here you go again. Only this time, through your own admission, y'all don't want that smoke. I just had to bring that up because, you know, some of y'all gonna find it real uncomfortable here tonight. I need to have a talk with my family. We got to deal with some things, but we got to deal with the facts. Not the feelings. And this is going to be a tough one. So I need y'all to stay with me. Don't get lost in your emotions and start acting like a bunch of bitches. Now, first thing we got to deal with is, of course, I told y'all before we went down to Louisville that there was a goal. A goal was to find out what was going on. That's what we was going down there for. To find out what was going on. It wasn't to go down there to shoot it out with nobody. This ain't the wild, wild motherfucking West. We went down there because they obviously wasn't going to tell the people down there what was going on. So we figured, well, maybe if we went down there, because everywhere else that we've announced that we were going, shit happened. When we announced we were coming to Brunswick, Georgia, within 2 hours, they locked these motherfuckers up. So, okay, got a little action there. You understand what I'm saying? The thought that we was coming to Minneapolis had them doing shit and we didn't even show up. But then we get to Louisville. And Louisville, we would have thought, would be a lot further along than it is right now. It wasn't. Then we start seeing crazy stuff. People shooting people off of buildings and paint guns and white boys on the roof, sniper rifles, and the cops let them go. And just, what's going on in Louisville? Now, so we had a goal when we went down there. Y'all seen the video. If you haven't seen the video that's available on my YouTube channel right now, not the little blurb you saw on here, which already was crazy, go watch the whole thing over there. There's some very interesting things that happened in that video. As one black woman told me, she said, never in my life did I ever think I would see a black man stand in the middle of the street and give instructions to kill someone? To other black people, and all the other black people were like, okay, all right. She said, I never thought I'd see no shit like that. She said, I'm good. I'm ready to go. See, to some of us, that was a moment that we don't have often. It's a moment y'all didn't want to see us have. But when it came to Breonna, this wasn't just who killed her and was they gonna go to jail. That was just one part. If y'all can rock with your boy for 2 seconds, the most insulting part was, but y'all was playing us like we stupid. Like we just, okay, well, nothing's gonna happen. We'll just go about our business. No, motherfucker, no, stop. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing? So we resolved ourselves to go down there to find out what was going on. Now, a lot of y'all don't understand when I say that. If you go down there, that means you got to talk to these people. You can't find out nothing if you start shooting up shit and burning shit up. That's not the way it works, folks. Destruction is always a last resort, but it's still an option. But a last resort. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So we went down there to get some answers. And you have to know how, like I like what some guy said on one of these commentaries I saw. He said he ran for president, so he know how to talk that political talk. You're absolutely right. I know exactly how to talk to these folks to find out exactly what it is that we need to know so that we can arrive at a position that's beneficial for us and not put them in a position to do nothing stupid. You see how you strategize that? It's chess. You still bring them boys and you still bring them toys, but you go in. Don't y'all ever notice that whenever there's a war, they always have a ceasefire and then two motherfuckers meet in the middle and go like, so this is what we about. Blase, blase, blase. And the other guy go, well, this is what we about. Blase, blase. Well, we can't rock with all that. Well, we can't rock with all that. But what can you rock with? And then they come to an agreement. And they either come to an agreement and the shit is over, or they can't agree and they go back and it's time for the shit to start flying. That's how it's been throughout history. What the fuck's wrong with y'all? You really don't think you have arrived as a people, don't you? This civilization really believes that it has achieved this great, well, we can just be peaceful. You can't help yourself. You're half man, half animal. Killing is a part of your behavior. Just like emotions are a part of your behavior. You can't turn them completely off. That's why people kill people. Oh, well, black on black crime, white on white crime, Latino on Latino crime, Chinese on Chinese crime, humpback on humpback crime, midget on midget crime. There's crime everywhere because it's in your nature. I'm not going to teach yet. I'm trying to stay away from that piece. I just want to deal with facts. Y'all better come on, roll with me. We're about to hit one of the loops right now. So throughout that process, and I have to commend all of the people that I talked to, they were all professional. They were all very forthcoming. They almost had this attitude like if somebody would just ask me, I would tell them instead of everybody beating me up and accusing me. And I'm like, bruh, they aggravated with you, bruh. They just aggravated with you. Okay. That's why they out there. Cause y'all ain't told them nothing yet. They don't know you, bruh. They don't know you. All they know is that you some black dude that got put in this position by another guy that has a track record of being a racist. That's all they know about you, bruh. I know about you. I did my study of you. I did a study that you're very intelligent. And when you were in school, that you have this propensity to find ways that you were a friend of the police. That's what it said in the report that I got about you. That you were placed there to be a friend to the police. And that the only way that you would convict anybody or charge anyone was if you found out a way not to. And in this particular instance, it's hard to find a reason not to. You see how I reason that out with you, sir? So y'all got to have people who can go to the table like that. Then y'all arrive at a conclusion and you go back to your soldiers and you let them know it's either we going in or we got what we came for. You see, that's how a militia should function. Not a mob, but a militia that has a purpose. Do you understand? Oh, I'm about to break something real deep on y'all tonight. You're going to learn something on this live stream. You're going to click off of this. If you hang around long enough, I put money on the fact you're going to walk away from this saying, I did not know that. So let me go ahead and finish unpacking this truck over here. So I commend all those people. I do. Very professional, very forthcoming. And what I loved the most was they were not afraid to throw each other under the bus. That's how you find out shit. You don't find out shit when everybody's covering for each other. You find out when somebody on the team did their own thing, screwed over 3 other people, and then they're going to tell you what they did. Oh, he told you what I did. You're going to tell them what he did. And before you know it, you got the whole story in front of them about this shit right here. Now, since I'm more so like a visiting dignitary or visiting ruler from another nation, which I actually was, I represent the black nation and I came to get some answers because the black nation is right outside that window. And right now they're not too happy. So since that's the position that I was in, I didn't have to take sides. I'm just listening. I should have worn my robe. Y'all know I got the judge robe. I'll break it out. And what I told y'all on the steps in Louisville is exactly what they're doing. They're doing what they said they were going to do. And it looks like, well, I guess there's some other folks that's interested too. Yes, y'all know about the FBI investigation that has now shifted to Breonna Taylor. So because things are moving along at such a rapid pace, you know, it would only be pertinent of me to give you the latest developments and to discuss what's true and what's not true. We need to clear some stuff up. There's a lot of rumors going on around this whole situation. We need to clear some stuff up. They're not going to clear this. They're not going to take the time to break down what needs to be cleared up about a black woman. They trying to get this case off their damn books, right? But we're interested. Because the particulars of this situation could be me, it could be you, it could be any of us. So we need to understand all of the details. So if we understand the details, maybe we can understand exactly what really happened and who ass needs to go to jail. Notice my story always ends in jail. So that being said, if y'all don't mind, I'm not going to put on the judge robe tonight. I'm going to put on that of the prosecutor. Because the defendant over there obviously does not think that they've committed a crime yet. Well, in front of the people, maybe they have. So the first thing I want you all to know is that about 6 hours ago, the Kentucky Attorney General's office stated that they won't require the Louisville public agencies to release Breonna Taylor's autopsy report, the police radio recordings in connection with her death, or Kenneth Walker's investigative file. Now, he said that 6 hours ago. He says, no, we're not going to let out the autopsy. No, you're not going to hear the 911 or the radio communications. No, you're not going to hear what we did about the boyfriend. Now, there's a lot of people right off the bat. That's why I'm unpacking it like this. Y'all are getting mad. Oh, yeah, let him go. You got to let him. Okay. If they release the autopsy, what is that going to do? Besides let the public see the punishment that this woman suffered. That's not important. Because you're going to jeopardize the other investigations that are going on, that are being done by the FBI and any civil suit. So if her family wants to get any money out of this, and of course they should be paid for the loss of their daughter. At a minimum, 10 million. At a minimum. No, we're not taking the standard 5.5. No, y'all did that in another case. No, 10 million is the base. And we can go up from there. But they released the autopsy. They jeopardized that. Put that back. You gotta get this paper. The police radio recordings. Same thing. If they want to try to figure out who was dirty and who wasn't, who was in it and who was just outside, who did the shooting and who didn't do the shooting, then they need to let that stay where it is while they're looking at that. Y'all understand? Because that's the loot. That's the civil case. That's the FBI case. Okay? The last piece is the investigation they did on the boyfriend. And people said, well, the boyfriend ain't had nothing to do with it. The boyfriend wasn't a dope dealer, all that. In that investigation, they also have his testimony about what happened in that house when he started shooting. That's in, and this is no secret. They already said that the testimony that he gave was very believable and that what the cop gave was totally unbelievable. Okay? So they got to keep that in there so they don't jeopardize the FBI case or in this case, the Attorney General's case too. So all that needs to stay up in there. All right. So they announced that 6 hours ago. I heard that and it lines up with what they told me. That's why I'm coming forward with this, because that's exactly what he said they had to do. And I'm watching them play the shit out. So it's not like he told me one thing and he's doing another. Y'all see, he's straight with your people. He talked to the NFAC. He told us the truth. So, I mean, I'm just giving y'all, if he told a lie, I'm going to call a lie. But the man ain't told no lie yet. This is exactly what they said was going to happen. It's exactly why. And so these investigations that you're hearing about, the FBI and all, we already knew about all that. Okay? That's been in the works since actually, since May 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of stuff is going on. Now understand that the agency, which is conducting its own investigation into Taylor's March 13th death, they released a series of open records ruling this week. They found that Louisville Metro Police, the Louisville Metro Emergency Services, and the Jefferson County Coroner's Office were justified in rejecting requests by the Louisville Courier Journal, that's the newspaper down there, of USA Today, of networks, saying that they had investigations going on. They can't give the autopsy report to the newspaper. So they had to go to court to get a ruling and say, no, we're not giving them to you right now because the FBI done got involved and they trying to throw somebody's ass in prison. They are. So in reaching those conclusions, the Attorney General's office pointed to letters from the FBI's Louisville field office and an assistant deputy attorney general that said releasing the records would adversely impact the ongoing investigations and any potential prosecutions that will result from them. So they're letting you know, if we let this out, y'all gonna be mad. So let us go on, hold on to it so we can do what we needs to do so y'all don't end up doing nothing stupid. So when the investigation concludes, the requested records would be subject to disclosure, barring any other applicable exemption. For instance, there could be some type of regulation that says you can't see the autopsy report because of HIPAA guidance or something like that. We don't know. But there's a guy by the name of Michael Abatey. He's the attorney who represents the Louisville Courier Journal. He disagreed with the ruling, and he said that the public has the right to know the basic underlying facts of this case so it can be confident ultimately that the investigation is fair. The man makes a valid argument. If you stop and think about the fact that it's not just the state of Kentucky that's doing the investigation. This ain't just the KBI that's doing the investigation. It's the FBI. It's a federal investigation. Once it becomes federal, y'all know he can have that. They're not telling you nothing. And when they lock people up, they lock them up. And sometimes they're not in no hurry, but they come get that ass, don't they? Nobody wants to be on the investigation by the FBI. Because when they decide they're going to come get you, bruh, they're going to roll up and that's going to be the end of that. Okay? So, there's also there's also some other things that's going on. If they keep trying, if we keep digging for certain things, it's going to jeopardize. But I will tell you what is being dug for. The autopsy report, the dispatch logs and the radio transmissions in connection with the execution of the search warrants at the Taylor's home and around the same time over on Elliott Avenue, the administrative incident reports that was completed by the LMPD. The body camera footage that's related to the Elliott Avenue search warrant and the subsequent arrest of Jamarcus Glover. See, those was uniform cops. They did that. So where's the video for that? But they was plain clothes around the corner though. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, uniform cops is implicit in this too at another location. See, it was two things going on at the same time, y'all. Got to know the whole story. And then last but not least, a full investigative file relating to the dismissed charges against Kenneth Walker. All of that has been denied to be released. This came out 6 hours ago. I'm letting y'all know this now. I'm letting you know when I know. Because y'all know that I'm looking at the clock. Like y'all looking at the clock. So, yes, I seen people jumping up and down and celebrating that the FBI is now involved. But I also see people who are like, no, we need to know everything now. Don't you know that when the FBI gets involved and they start their own investigation, they're not going to let nothing out because they want to see the facts first. They ain't got no vested interest in this. They don't want them in this. This was not asked for. They just came on in like, you know what? This is some straight bullshit. We take everybody, open everything up. Just give me everything. Y'all just. So I wanted to give you the update on that. I did want y'all to know that, at the end of the day, I'm going to break it down for y'all real quick. Out of all of the stuff that happened that night, 22 shots got fired. 22 shots. Okay. By 3 different people. But the person that we are focusing on is Hankinson. Because Hankinson is the one that fired 10 rounds into that apartment blindly. He was the one that got shot. 10 rounds. Just right? And then that wasn't the end of the shooting. They said there was more shooting when the 911 call was called. They said there was more shooting after that. So who was shooting? Nobody shooting back? The fuck is y'all doing? So I wanted y'all to know that there are a lot of facts to this case, but there's a lot of facts that are not facts at all. There's a lot of lies and rumors. There's some rumors that's going around, and we need to go ahead and shut them down. We're going to shut them down with facts tonight, and you probably believed some of these. So allow me, Miss Taylor, if you don't mind, I would like to clear up some facts surrounding your tragic death. Thank you. As almost as quickly as the fatal police shootings of Breonna Taylor became an international story, and trending topics on social media, so did the misinformation about her life and her death. Now, let me give you the facts first. What I'm going to say is fact. And then I'm going to cover the myths, okay? If you don't know who Miss Taylor was, she was a 26-year-old emergency room technician at both Jewish and Norton hospitals. She was inside her South End apartment when she was fatally shot by 3 plainclothes officers who were attempting to serve a no-knock warrant search at 12:40 in the morning on March the 13th of this year as part of a narcotics investigation. In other words, they were looking for drugs. The court records showed that the Louisville police obtained a warrant. They went and got a warrant with a no-knock provision. I mean, they don't have to announce they come in and just boom, just come on in your crib, for Taylor's apartment. And it was approved by a Jefferson Circuit Court judge by the name of Mary Shaw. Mary Shaw, that's who approved it. They went and told her, this is what we got. You got to sign this warrant. She signed it because they told her what she needed to hear. She signed it. They got it. We all, they gone. Went to see the judge, middle of the night. Got the warrant. Headed on over. Though the police and the prosecutors have said that the officers knocked and announced themselves before breaking down the door. Now think about it. Stop trying to insult my intelligence. Y'all went and got a no-knock warrant, but you knocked on the door. I ain't gonna say nothing to that. Y'all stupid. I'm sorry. Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, he said he heard pounding on the door, but he did not hear anyone announce they were the police. So he fired one shot at 12:43 a.m. Okay? And according, that was on his arrest citation. He thought intruders was breaking in the crib. Walker's bullet struck Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly in the leg, and he had to have surgery. Mattingly and another officer, Brett Hackison and Miles Cosgrove, they returned fire. They shot at least 22 rounds. One shot, they unloaded everything they had. What's the lesson here? They teaching you don't shoot at the police, right? They call it death by cop is what I've always heard it called. Unfortunately, Taylor was struck. She was struck multiple times and she died in the hallway of her apartment. That's what her attorneys have verified. The coroner's office listed her time of death at 12:48 a.m. From the time they knocked on that door to this girl being dead in her own home. Walker wasn't wounded. Even though they shot 22 times, he wasn't wounded. Even though he shot the cop, and the cop fired right back at him, he didn't hit him, not at all. Those same attorneys said that the neighbors did not hear police announce themselves before entering. Nobody heard nobody yell nothing about no damn police. Mattingly, Cosgrove, and Hankison, they all got placed on paid vacation. They call it administrative reassignment pending the results of an internal investigation. In other words, the Louisville Police Department said they were going to investigate themselves. That's where everything went off the goddamn rails right there, y'all. Now, once they did their internal investigation, the LMPD, they've since fired Hankison. He was accused by listen to this now, the interim police chief. That's Robert Schrader, because the other police chief quit as soon as the shit broke. He said that he was blindly firing 10 rounds into Taylor's apartment. Just blindly, He says, I find your conduct a shock to the conscience. He wrote a letter to Hankison, laying out the charges against him. He says, I'm alarmed and I'm stunned you use deadly force in this fashion. Now, if you know some people who know some people who know some people who know this man, they will tell you that ain't nothing new about him, but you ain't hear that from me. The investigation is now in the hands of the Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, who we've been talking, and his team of investigators and prosecutors. That's where we had our discussion about what he needed to do to get the job done. Now, additionally, there's a detective, Joshua James, who obtained a search warrant for Taylor's apartment. He got reassigned too. He the one that actually went and got the goddamn warrant. So they done put his ass. Now the FBI done open an investigation. And Judge Shaw, you know Judge Shaw, has refused to address the case and her decision to sign the search warrant. She won't even talk about it. The judge said, I ain't got nothing to say. It's done. Now, those, my friends, are the facts. Those are the facts. Everything that I said to you is 100% facts. I ain't saying nothing else. Now, what I didn't say is what some people are already saying. Like, y'all like to spread false news real quick. Matter of fact, some of y'all dig around and mess so much. If you didn't have nothing messy to say, you wouldn't have anything to talk about. So you spread false information. Well, again, thanks to the wonderful people that I work with in Louisville and all of the people on the ground, the activists. And of course, I got to shout out LeBron Lachey and his whole team, because those are the people that helped me fill in the gaps. Same way I did in Brunswick. I went down there and it didn't make no sense. So we had to fill in the gaps. And now they're moving along to a verdict. Same thing here. Got to fill in the gaps so we can move along. The first claim is that the police was at the wrong apartment. Y'all heard that? Oh, they was at the wrong house. Somebody even said that to me. I heard they was at the wrong house. Yeah, I seen that on Facebook. I done seen it on Twitter. They said they went to the wrong house on the night of the death and they served it. They broke into the wrong house. Now, I'm not going to call out this famous attorney's name, but he actually went on, he was involved in the case, and he went on Twitter. He said they had the wrong address and the real suspect was already in custody. So we went and looked at the copies of the search warrants the Louisville police received on March the 12th as part of the narcotics investigation. One was for Taylor's apartment, and there was three were for the adjacent homes on Elliott Avenue and in the Russell neighborhood, and one was at the house on West Muhammad Ali. That's where we started our actual formation. The Ali Boulevard warrant was not executed, although the reason has never been told why they didn't execute that warrant. The search warrant for Taylor's home includes her street address, her apartment number, photos of her apartment door, which police later broke down using a battering ram. They knew exactly where they were going. Taylor's name, her birth date, her social security number are all listed on the warrant, alongside the names of the narcotics investigation's main target, Jamarcus Glover and Adrian Walker. Adrian Walker and Kenneth Walker are not related. They just hung out together. Now, in the affidavit for the search warrant, James wrote that he'd seen Glover get a package from Taylor's house and that he used Taylor's address as his own on the documents. That's what everything I've said, that's what people are saying, right? Here's the facts. That's not true. Everything I just said to you is not true. The search warrant for Taylor and her home explicitly identified her and her address. The Louisville police were not there by mistake. They believed that Taylor had ties to Glover, one of the main suspects in their investigation. That's the truth. Here's another one that y'all been running around repeating that's not true. The police located their main suspect before they went to Taylor's house. That's what they was floating around, that when they went to Taylor's house, it was on Twitter, it was on Facebook, I seen it here on the gram. Oh, they already had him in custody. Here's what everybody was saying. They maintained that Glover, who was one of the main targets in the Louisville police narcotics investigation, already was in jail before the officers executed that March 13th search warrant at Taylor's apartment. I believed the same thing when I first heard the story. That's what made it so crazy. Y'all had this guy all along. In the lawsuit filed in Jefferson Circuit Court in April against the three Louisville police officers who fired their weapons by Taylor's family, the attorneys also argued that Glover was located and identified by LMPD prior to the warrant being executed at Breonna's home. That's what the attorneys were saying. In an additional filing in early July, the attorneys alleged that police actually converged on Glover's house on Elliott Avenue around midnight, well before police entered Taylor's apartment. So the Taylor's family contention is that police had no need to execute the warrant at Breonna's apartment that resulted in her death, since they already had located their main target. They saying that came from the attorneys. They said that in a recorded statement to investigators, Mattingly said that police executed the warrant at Taylor's apartment at the same time as the home on Elliott Avenue. Mattingly was the one that said that the warrant for her apartment was secured as a no-knock, but he was told to knock and announce. By who? Anyway, Taylor's apartment was considered a soft target with minimal threats, according to them, and they also said they did not believe that she had children or animals, but they weren't sure. Mattingly said that she should be there alone because they knew where their target was. Taylor's name was listed on the search warrant for her home along with Glover's name. All of this is part of what I'm telling you. According to court records obtained, we went and looked. According to this, we were supposed to they executed the Taylor's apartment at 1240. That's what they said. Police also executed a search warrant 10 miles away at Taylor's home. So come on now, all of this is going on. Listen, let me tell you whether or not this is true or false. It's true. Official documents say the police executed the search warrant at Elliott Avenue and at Taylor's apartment at the same time. And Glover wasn't officially arrested until 2 hours later. So stop telling that lie. Glover may not have been in custody before officers forced their way into Taylor's home, but based on statements by Officer Mattingly, police likely knew where he was at the time. And that's the problem. Now, here's one I want to clear up, and I hope that y'all go and tell everybody on the mountain about this. Y'all done heard this rumor going around that Breonna was shot while she was asleep in bed. That's what somebody heard it. I heard it too. Various social media posts and media reports have said that Louisville police gunned down Taylor as she was asleep in bed. That's been all around. Matter of fact, Commonwealth Attorney Tom Wine played partial recordings of police interviews with Walker during the May 22nd news conference, in which Walker told police he and Taylor were watching a movie in bed. It was watching them more than we were watching it, he said, when they heard a loud bang at the door that scared both of them. Walker said he initially thought it might have been Taylor's former boyfriend, but there was no response when Taylor twice called out, "Who is it?" Then Walker said he grabbed his gun. It was registered to Walker, saying he was scared to death. Taylor yelled again at the top of her lungs, asking who it was. Walker said he said that she even asked. He said he was asking too. They got up out of bed and were going toward the door when it comes off its hinges. Walker fired one shot, unable to see who he was shooting at. That's what he told police. So police fired in response, and they struck Taylor multiple times, according to her family's lawsuit against the LMPD. Sounds credible, doesn't it? Completely false. Taylor and Kenneth Walker were in bed when they heard the banging on the apartment door at approximately 12:40 a.m. That's according to the statements that Walker made to the police. But they got out of bed before the police entered, and Taylor died in the hallway on the floor. I'm going to clean something up for you, Breonna, because they keep saying this about you, Breonna. And Breonna, I know, sister. But one of the claims about you, I'm going to clean up tonight right here on Facts Over Feelings. They said that she was living with a drug dealer. I've heard that repeated by people in some of the nastiest comments I've seen about this. But she was with a drug dealer. That's what she get. Yeah, that's what they said, huh? Matter of fact, here's the claim. Several of y'all social media so-called mouthpieces have accused Taylor of living with a drug dealer, insinuating that that's why the police targeted her place for a search warrant in a narcotics investigation. Taylor shared her apartment with her younger sister, Juniah Palmer. Neither Taylor nor Palmer have any history of drug offenses. Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, did not live in the apartment, according to the address listed on the arrest citation. He also had no history of drug offenses, and Walker was not named in the search warrant. Sam Aguilar, who is an attorney for the Taylor's family, said that Taylor previously had dated Glover, one of the police's main suspects, 2 years earlier, and that they maintained a passive friendship. According to the affidavit, Detective James wrote for the search warrant, Glover used Taylor's apartment as his home address. James also wrote that he verified through a U.S. postal inspector that Jamarcus Glover had been receiving packages at Taylor's apartment. Both Louisville's U.S. postal inspector, Tony Gooden, told us that a different agency, which he did not identify, had asked in January to look into whether Taylor's home was receiving suspicious mail, and the office had concluded that the apartment was not. They already told him. That's the whole claim. Y'all heard this whole story, right? That's false. It's not true. Neither Taylor nor Kenneth Walker had any drug offenses on their record. Additionally, Taylor and Glover maintained only a passive relationship. That's it. The rest of this stuff, her being a drug dealer, wasn't nobody drug dealing in the house, wasn't nothing that going on. They wasn't around there. They wasn't looking for the boyfriend. Y'all stop that. Y'all stop pissing on these people's names. If anybody was a victim of society, they're the splitting couple right there. They're the typical black man and black woman in America. And these are the victims of this particular type of mispolicing? You got to have me and all 45 million of my people fucked up. If you think for 2 seconds, we're going to sit there and be like, well, damn, if it could happen to them, shit, it could happen to any of us. Nope. Y'all have gone too goddamn far. I know you got to try to fight crime and all that bullshit and get an upper hand. Oh, all that. You want to run around, play superhero. That's on you. But this shit right here, this ain't American. Coming up in somebody's crib and you ain't got a knock and you coming in shooting. See, that's war. That's war. That's what you do in war. Man, let me shoot down. And I had to clean that up for you, Bree, because they talking foul about you, Bree. They talking foul about your house, Bree. They talking foul. All eyes on Bree. Thank you, Oprah. It done got to you too. Thank you, Complex. It got to you too. Thank you, Sha Rock. It got to you too. Thank you, Yadameen Podcast. It got to you too. And all the other people that have felt what we feel and have talked about it because they know y'all need to know about it and not get caught up in a whole lot of mess. So I had to clear that one up right there. Y'all gonna stop talking foul about my sister and her king that was shot up. I don't know where y'all get that from. We're not gonna dig into that yet. That's for the second half of Facts Over Feelings tonight. Tonight I want to deal with the facts. 6 hours ago, Attorney General decided that there was some stuff they weren't going to let out because the FBI is now investigating. We got to concur with that because we don't want to jeopardize the civil case either. But there's still some questions. Still questions. So I'm giving y'all the facts. I'm clearing up because you're going to hear a bunch of crazy stuff. Now, there's another claim out there. There's another rumor that's floating around that there's some body camera footage of Breonna's shooting there. Y'all have heard somebody say this. They said Sam Aguilar and Lanita Baker, who the attorneys for the Taylor family, say that more than 120 officers eventually were dispatched to the Taylor South End apartment on Springfield Drive on the early morning hours of March 13th. Despite that, there's no body camera footage that's been released. And they wrote that, in a wide range court ruling on June the 9th. That's when they said this. Hours after the shooting then, the Louisville police chief, Steve Conrad, told Newsmedia that there was no body camera footage to share from the shooting. He said the incident was related to the execution of a search warrant by the members of our criminal interdiction division. And some of the officers assigned to this division do not wear body-worn video systems, he said, because they're in plain clothes. So neither Mattingly, Hankerson, nor Cosgrove were wearing body cameras. That's what the police said. And the attorneys for the Taylor family, they argued that officers on the scene in the aftermath was wearing body cameras, and they could have captured information that could shed light on Taylor's death. So here's the verdict on this one. It's inconclusive. We really don't know. Because Conrad said that Mattingly, Hankerson, and Cosgrove were not wearing body cameras when they shot Taylor. However, other officers at the scene following the shooting, you're right, they had body cams. If so, they might have captured something. So we have to ask the question, where's them videos? I'm just raising the question. Now, some people they keep talking about Bree. I'm going to clear this up for you again, Bree. Clear it up for you again. Hold up. All eyes on Bree. Y'all keep calling her an EMT. We even had high profile lawyers that came out and said that an EMT was killed in a bungled police raid. I'm going to clear it up for you. I've heard it on the local and the national media. Yeah, we've seen how the national media can take something that's not true and run with it so hard that a lot of y'all can't get it out your head. Y'all still think somebody got shot at our formation. Anyway, they went out and told everybody this. Well, that's partially true. Can I? Thank you. See, Taylor joined the city as an EMT recruit in January of 2016, but she became a full EMT by June, and she left the Metro government in November 2016. Okay. They clarified that she was working as an ER technician at two of the hospitals at the time of her March 13 death with aspirations of becoming a nurse. That's the real irony of this whole thing. She was working in the ER, y'all, and got hit into an ER situation and nobody helped her. And they was wrong. Those are some of the myths that I needed to clear up about Breonna Taylor. Everything that I've just disproved, you can go back and watch this over when I'm done. Or you can keep walking around functioning on misinformation because it makes you feel good. We're not in here for that. Now, let me continue to move on with my case. It's going to get kind of rough right here. I don't want nobody to throw their phone and don't nobody jump in the water. But I told you all once before that the only way we can affect change is we have to change the law. And that's how you affect change. Because as long as something is legal in the eyes of a society, then it is not wrong for them to do it to you. Okay? No knock warrant law needs to be changed, not suspended. I don't know who came up with that crazy ass idea. I'm just going to run on up in your house and then get mad if I shoot at you. Okay. That shit didn't happen in a cave. So who came up, what creature came up with that idea? However, since you all have not changed the laws, these cases have to be tried in the confines of those laws. Now, it's going to be kind of rough for me to say this, so I don't know how I want to unpack this, but I want you all to understand that we cannot get mad if somebody finds a way to get away with a crime because the law is written badly. We can't get mad and go tear up shit if they find an individual guilty under a specific law that's on the books when we haven't done anything to change the laws. How do you change the law? You got to vote some people out of office and you got to vote some people into office that's going to do what you want them to do. I'm not telling you to go vote for no fucking body. I'm telling you come up with your own platform. And that any candidate that wants your political support, they have to agree in writing. You're going to do these 5 things right here, or you're going to have a problem. That's how you get your laws changed. So, since y'all haven't changed the laws, this is facts over feelings, right? I don't see no hearts no more because y'all know I'm about to drop some shit on y'all. Oh, I came in here tonight, and I'm just going to give it to you straight. You see, we went and did an examination of the laws that are applicable in this case. Y'all always, murder. Really? Have you read what it takes to construct a murder charge based on what this is? Have you looked at what the requirements are, the elements of a murder charge in any degree to fit it to this particular case? Have you looked at the reason for premeditation or involuntary? Have you looked at any of this shit and saw how you don't look at it for what you can get them for. Let me teach y'all something. You look at it for what they can get you out of. Whenever you get in trouble, read the law to say, well, they can't stick me with this. They can't stick me with that. They more than likely gonna stick me with this. How do I defeat this shit? That's what they're doing. Looking through all their laws, trying to find one they can say, well, he can get away with it if we tell him, we charge him with this. It's not how you get them, it's how you get away. That's the whole game of law. I know I got some law students on here that can tell them that shit. That's why they make the laws public so you can go read it. Remember, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. So you plan. It's chess. I told you that. We examined the laws and we looked at the cases. And then we ran it around a bunch of legal people. And we said, based on the law, based on the circumstances of the case, we're going to ask the question tonight. And y'all are now in the jury box. You're in the jury box. What charge could they bring against anybody? And if so, if they bring the charge and they get found guilty, what's the maximum amount of time they can get? And what are the loopholes that they can jump through so that they get nothing? See, if you know all of this going in, then you won't sit there like a bump on a log and lose your goddamn mind when they tell them that they're going to walk. Or if they get charged and you find out they go to court and they only come back and hit their ass with 5 years, you're like, why the fuck you mean 5 years? Everybody want to lose their mind. But then you go read the law and the law says the maximum he gets is 5 years for this shit. Got to change the law. So let's dig into that just a little bit. And this is for my smart people on the live tonight. The rest of y'all, this ain't the kind of shit you tuned in for. Go on somewhere else and look at some ignorant. Go listen to some lies. Go listen to some gun experts or something. We right here trying to find out if we need to find out how long we're going to have to keep all eyes on Bree. So, I see some people typing in the comments what they think the charge should be based on what you know about the case. I'm going to ask you right now, type in what you think the charge should be. Not the sentence, the charge. Somebody said manslaughter. Somebody else came back and said, okay, I see another manslaughter. Y'all, this is what y'all think? Y'all think it should be manslaughter, huh? Manslaughter. That's what I keep saying. Premeditated. Premeditated what? Premeditated manslaughter, premeditated murder, murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree. Y'all sitting there saying that y'all want somebody arrested. Okay, arrested and charged with what? Again, I got another manslaughter. Let me talk to you a little bit about what's on the books that y'all trying to get. Somebody say in the third degree, wrongful death. Here we go. Now y'all starting to think a little bit. I got a classroom. Everybody in the third row, what y'all thinking about? People in the back, what y'all think it should be? I see manslaughter, manslaughter. Everybody leave involuntary manslaughter, murder. Somebody straight up murder. Somebody say, I disagree. Oh, first degree. I'm sorry. Okay, another first degree. We got first degree murder. Everybody going straight to first degree murder. Somebody said endangerment. Endangerment. Okay. Reckless endangerment. Okay. Negligent homicide. I'm listening to what y'all saying. Second degree murder. Come on. What do you think they should be charged with? At least the trigger, man. Everybody's going for premeditated murder. Everybody. Let me help y'all out. And this is something that I've learned over the last 5 years of being involved and around a lot of these high profile shootings where people don't go to prison the way we want to. You see, the prosecutors play this little game, and so does the district attorney, where they overcharge an offense. Because as they overcharge the offense, there's no way it'll ever meet the conditions. And you can't find them guilty. They haven't, the state, or they can't prove the case. There's no way. So they overcharge, and the state can't prove that. And then the person walks. So let me be the first one to let you know that under the law, oh, it's going to get a little painful up in here. Under the current law, and I know we all asking for them to be charged. LeBron James said he want them charged. Beyonce said she want them charged. Oprah done even said she want them charged. And so do about 10 million other people who done signed a petition over at change.org demanding justice for Breonna Taylor. The NFAC want them charged. Even marched in 3,500 deep to let them know we want them charged. You've seen the video. And that Louisville Metro Police Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, Officer Miles Cosgrove, and ex-officer Brett Hankinson be charged with killing her. That's what we all want. And all them charges y'all threw up there is what we think is fitting of the crime. However, after talking to a gang of lawyers and a few other people, everybody who's been in practice 45, 50 years, they said that the officers should not be charged with murder or manslaughter because they had a legal right to defend themselves once her boyfriend fired that shot at them. 3 of these lawyers were black that said this. It's unfortunate that the young lady was killed, That's what R.B. Williams, who's a former president of Louisville's NAACP chapter, who spent much of his 10-year career fighting police in court, said. But for the life of me, I don't see them indicting or convicting. That's what he said. Now, y'all know we're not trying to hear that. So let me go a little further. Jan Waddell, who's another defense lawyer who is black and has likewise frequently tangled with the police, he also said that Mattingly and Cosgrove are likely immune from prosecution because Kentucky law allowed them to return fire in self-defense when Mattingly was hit in the leg with a bullet fired by Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, who said he didn't know the intruders was the police and he thought the couple was being robbed. He went on to say that the seemingly unending list of unarmed black men who had been and continue to be gunned down by white police officers does not and cannot justify the return of an indictment based on revenge rather than the facts of the case of the law. Listen, Sam Aguilar, who is a civil lawyer for the Taylor's family, he acknowledged Louisville police had a right to return fire immediately after they were fired upon shortly after midnight on that March the 13th. But he said that evidence showed that they continued to shoot after they were no longer in danger. And he said that there's a 911 call from one of the neighbors who reported hearing gunfire. More than 68 seconds later in the same call, she said she heard more. So there's an argument there. Most of the lawyers that we talked to, they had to agree that, now listen to this, they said that Hankerson should be charged, but that he should be charged with a crime I didn't see y'all type down there. That under Kentucky law, he should be charged with wanton endangerment of the first degree. I'm coming to the end of the first part of Facts Over Feelings. I hope you'll come back and join me. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Yes, we do. I'll see you on the flip side. Remember, tonight it's all eyes on Bree, and I'm celebrating the NFAC. I'll see y'all when I get back.